Hello, everyone. So, we are going to read a book called The Four Agreements, which is written by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's one of the Toltec books. So, the Toltec books are basically the books of wisdom on different topics, which we can even use in this modern era in our day to day life. And the wisdom comes from the Toltec tradition. So, first, let's understand what this Toltec tradition is. Thousands of years ago, the Toltec were spreaded throughout southern Mexico, and they were known as women and men of knowledge. Anthropologist actually speaks of Toltec as a nation or a race, but actually Toltecs were scientists and artists who formed a society to explore and conserve the spiritual knowledge and practices which were very, very ancient. They came together as a society, as masters. Masters in Toltec tradition are also called as Nagwals. So they came together as Nagwals and students at a place. It's a city, ancient city of pyramids, which was situated outside Mexico. And the place was known as where the man becomes God. And the name of place was Teotihuacan. The spelling is different, the pronunciation is little bit different. It's pronounced as Teotihuacan. So Teotihuacan was a city where these men and women of knowledge gathered together, formed a society, and worked towards exploring more and conserving spiritual knowledge and practices, which were very, very old, which were passed from generations to generations. After a period, these Nagwals were forced to conceal this ancestral wisdom and maintain its existence in secret. That's because there were European conquest, and there was also a rampant misuse of these spiritual powers for personal benefits. And that is why the knowledge was kept in secret for few years, for few hundred years, we can say. Knowledge was not lost, though, because it was embodied and passed on through generations by different lineages of Nagwals, though in secret. And now, Don Miguel Ruiz, who's the author of this book, who is also a Nagwal from the Eagle Knight lineage, has been guided to share this knowledge with all of us. And this powerful teachings of Toltec has come forth for our knowledge, for our understanding, and for our benefit. Let's know a little bit more about Toltec knowledge. So basically, it arises from the same essential unity of truth as all the sacred esoteric traditions found around the world. Though it is not a religion, it honors all the spiritual masters who have taught on this earth. While it does embrace spirit, it is most accurately described as a way of life, distinguished by the ready accessibility of happiness and love. From my understanding, the Toltec wisdom is the ancient wisdom which even allows us, which even guides us to live in this modern era a better life, better as human beings than just human animals. As introduction, the author tells us a story titled The Smoky Mirror. So, before we finish today's episode, let's hear this story out. 3,000 years ago, there was a human being, just like you and me, who lived near a city surrounded by mountains. The human was studying to become a medicine man, to learn the knowledge of his ancestors. But it did completely agree with everything what he was learning. In his heart, he felt there must be something more. One day, as he slept in a cave, he dreamed that he saw his own body sleeping. He came out of the cave on the night of a new moon. The sky was clear and he could see millions of stars. Then something happened inside of him that transformed his life forever. He looked at his hands, he felt his body, and he heard his own voice, which said, I am made of light. I am made of stars. He looked at the stars again, and he realized that it's not the stars that create light, but rather light that creates the stars. Everything is made of light, he said, and the space in between isn't empty. And he knew that everything that exists in one living being and that light is the messenger of life because it is alive and contains all information. Then he realized that although he was made of stars, he was not those stars. I am in between the stars, he thought. So he called the stars the tonal and the light between the stars the Nagwal. And he knew that what created the harmony and space between the two is life or intent. Without life, the tonal and the Nagwal could not exist. Life is the force of the Absolute, the Supreme, the Creator, who creates everything. This is what he discovered. Everything in existence is a manifestation of the one living being we call God. Everything is God. And he came to the conclusion that human perception is merely light perceiving light. He also saw that matter is a mirror. Everything is a mirror that reflects light and creates images of that light. And the world of illusion, the dream, is just like smoke which doesn't allow us to see what we really are. The real us is pure love, pure light, he said. This realization changed his life. Once he knew what he really was, he looked around at other humans and the rest of the nature, and he was amazed at what he saw. He saw himself in everything, in every human, in every animal, in every tree, in water, in the rain, in the clouds, in the earth. And he saw that life mixed the tonal and the nagwal in different ways to create billions of manifestations of life. Just to remind our listeners, stars are the tonal and the light between the stars is the nagwal. And what creates the harmony and space between these two is life or intent. Coming back to the story, when he was looking around, he saw himself in everything, and he saw that life mixed the tonal and the nagwal in different ways to create billions of manifestations of life. In those few moments, he comprehended everything. He was very excited, and his heart was filled with peace. He could hardly wait to tell his people what he had discovered. But there were no words to explain it. He tried to tell the others, but they could not understand. They could see that he had changed, that something beautiful was radiating from his eyes and his voice. They noticed that he no longer had judgment about anything or anyone. He was no longer like anyone else. He could understand everyone very well, but no one could understand him. They believed that he was an incarnation of God, and he smiled when he heard this, and he said, It is true, I am God, but you are also God. We are the same, you and I. We are the same. We are images of light. We are God. But still, the people didn't understand him. He had discovered that he was a mirror for the rest of the people, a mirror in which he could see himself. Everyone is a mirror, he said. He saw himself in everyone. But nobody saw him as themselves, and he realized that everyone was dreaming, but without awareness, without knowing what they really are. They couldn't see him as themselves because there was a wall of fog or smoke between the mirrors. And that wall of fog was made by the interpretation of images of light, the dream of humans. Then he knew that he would soon forget all that he had learned, and he wanted to remember all the visions he had had. So he decided to call himself the smoky mirror, so that he would always know that matter is a mirror and the smoke in between is what keeps us from knowing what we are. He said, I am the smoky mirror because I am looking at myself in all of you, but we don't recognize each other because of the smoke in between us. That smoke is the dream, and the mirror is you, the dreamer. That's the story of Smoky Mirror. The introduction ends with a quote from John Lennon, which is, living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. Hope you've enjoyed the first episode of the Four Agreements. Until next time, love and light.